I don't know what everybody out there thinks, but man, that is one good looking sled. I think it's a love or hate with the kind of lime squeegeous greeny yellow and that sort of baby powdery blue, but I'll tell you what, I think that is one darn good looking sled right there. And yeah, we can harp on me being a Ski-Doo lover or whatever it might be, but I think that's just a good looking sled. And really, is there anything that works as good as the new 850 E-Tech 2? I mean, this motor, I just fired this thing up so we can do a walk around for you guys, and man, that kind of signature Ski-Doo sound of a startup, it rolls over for hardly even a split second and the thing fires up, it's happy, it's purring, the idle's clean, it doesn't stumble, it's not coughing, and it's minus probably 19 or minus 20 right now out. Just finishing off the day here at the shop and wanted to get you guys a walk around of this thing. This is the Backcountry X, so it's the Renegade Backcountry X. It's 146. It is kind of a bit of an anomaly to us. We're not totally sure exactly where it fits. It's not an SKS. It's not a switchback assault. That's my comparisons. What is it? I'm not totally sure. It's got the 2-inch lug track on it, I believe. Yeah, it's got a 2-incher by 16 wide, so it's got a huge footprint. Up front, it's got a bit of a hybrid with the arms and the spindles. I believe it has a trail style spindle on it with the mountain style arms. There was a bit of variation at the end of last season just to kind of get things tweaked and working proper. But we haven't quite figured out exactly what it does and what it does different or better or where it fits in. There's going to be a full comparison coming up this winter on SnowTrax. Luke and I both did test rides on these vehicles, so you're going to see a full test ride of this vehicle and or of this sled. Sorry, I'm coming over from dirt track, so I'm used to saying vehicle, but there's going to be a full test ride of this sled, and then also the backcountry, or sorry, the switchback assault. And then we do a complete shootout where we take both of them and put them head to head. Now Luke did that story, and I have to say that I agree with his outcome. I won't lead in too much to that, but this thing is, it's a good sled. It works good on the trail. It works great off trail because of that 16x2. Now, does it do what a switchback assault does on the trail? No, definitely not. A switchback assault is more trail worthy. But this thing is better than an SKS on the trail. So it kind of fits in between those two sleds if I'm looking for a category to compare it to. You know, the Renegade Backcountry X in the past was pretty much just the most maxed out Renegade with a bigger lug on it. I think back in the day it was a 175 if I'm not mistaken. And I'm pretty sure it was on just a 137 for a little while. But I mean, now obviously we're into much bigger sleds on the flatland. This sled is definitely a flatland free riding sled in my opinion. It's going to be for the guy who wants to run on trail to get to those cool powder spots. If you run with the, I believe, optional 1.6-inch track, then you're going to see a little bit better performance on the trail, a little bit less off trail. You can go with a 15-inch wide, I'm pretty certain. This is a 16, and again, it's a 2.0, so you're going to get really maximum off trail capabilities. One thing that I don't understand and that I really do wish that this sled had came with was a better set of shocks. So it's not that they're bad, it's just that they're not, in my opinion, up to par for what the Renegade Backcountry X was. I guess I'm thinking of the old Renegade Backcountry X as, or just the old Backcountry X. I'm thinking of it a bit more as a Backcountry XRX because it came with the premium piggyback shocks, and it was just kind of all of those things. Maybe this sled is just missing the piggybacks on it. It does have one out back on the rear arm shock, but I just feel like this guy who's going to buy this sled, you know, the person who's gone out and is picking this thing up is probably going to be going out, and you're probably going to be ripping the thing off trail. You're probably riding with guys with switchback assaults or with SKSs, and those sleds all come with premium front shocks. They come with Walker Evans piggybacks, and I just feel like this one is just missing the mark in that area. And that's, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Yeah, you can go to a free ride, but when you go to a free ride, you get the full mountain front end, and really a free ride is not going to be a great sled on trail. They just aren't. They're up on one ski all the time. You're not going to corner them hard. You're not going to run them fast that way. You're going to be disappointed if you take a free ride and expect it to run with a Switchback Assault, because it just won't. This sled is much more similar to kind of in between the Switchback Assault and the SKS, but I do feel like it should have a bit better shock up front, at least some kind of an adjustability, because the person ripping this thing is probably going to be off the ground a little bit, you know, playing around, running it in the deep powder, jumping it off stuff, looking for some drops and some cool things like that. Yes, it may be flatlandish more than up in the mountains. I'm not talking dropping cornices and doing huge booters like that, but I mean, people who buy these sleds want to use them. They want to, you know, run them hard, and I think when you pull up at the end of the day with your buddies, you want to have something that touts just a little bit as well, and I think a cool shock package up front does just that. Plus, it also helps out when you do get into some of that gnarly stuff and that really aggressive terrain. The seat on this sled is pretty much perfect. Ski-Doo's got this really figured out. The ergonomics and riding package is just, it's right where it's supposed to be. The gauges are nice. One thing that I kind of find maybe a little bit of a step back from some of the Polaris stuff, with the Polaris full GPS gauge, you get a lot of information, and for being off trail, I really like that. That's one feature that you can get on a Polaris, but you can't on a Ski-Doo. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ski-Doo's got some crazy, you know, dual digital thing where one of them's a GPS in behind, or the whole thing is in behind, and then you got your gauges and all that stuff. They're the kind of company who's probably got that stuff up their sleeve and ready to come out, but I think it'd be cool to see a little bit more technology in the gauge package from Ski-Doo. I know they have ones that are a little bit more detailed from the watercraft side and whatnot, but this one, and really any of their gauge packages, don't have that kind of stuff that Polaris does. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that coming up in the future. Again, 16 by 2.0, so this thing should be able to throw some serious snow. It's got quite a shovel on it. Yeah, I'm excited to ride this thing this winter. I'm excited to see exactly where it fits in the lineup and what it does. It looks great on snow. Some people don't like the look of these sleds. I think they're gorgeous. I think it's a really, really good looking snowmobile. The design department over at Ski-Doo, those people, you know, they take their work very seriously, and I think they do a really, really good job. I like the coloration. I like the styling. I put some time in on this. I rode it for a couple of days out west last season, like I said, and did a test ride on it. I want to tell you more about it, but I got to kind of keep that hush-hush. You guys got to wait for the season to start, and you'll see just that, and then you'll see the shootout. But I mean, hats off to Ski-Doo for coming out with a really solid ride here. Where does it fit? Well, that's still yet to be determined, but nonetheless, this sled is an excellent piece of work. I mean, even just cool stuff like the tapered tunnel and the pyramidal frame. I mean, this thing just, it looks so motocross-ish in so many ways, and just so sleek and so thin and so light. And I guess in truth, it is. Hey, I'm not 100% Ski-Doo guy here. I don't think they do everything perfect, but man, they sure are pressing hard, and they're doing a lot right. So I may have harped about the front ski shocks, but we got to find some of those things that we think are, not quite up to par. And I'm sure next year they'll probably have a lot of that stuff sorted out. But for right now, quick little walk around, a little information on it. And yeah, I'll hopefully get some cool GoPro stuff and some YouTube videos up for you guys, some exclusive stuff just for online this winter of me ripping this thing. And some of the other sleds too, we'll have both of them out at the same time, and maybe try to get some on-snow impressions of exactly how these things work head-to-head with the SKS and with the Switchback Assault. Anyways, bring on the snow.